Hi, welcome to this lesson on social and cultural policies of the colonial regime part 4. We continue with what we have been learning in the past few lessons, and it's a very broad topic as we've already mentioned before. So, we will discuss aspects like education, the contribution of Jyotiba Phule, the Prarthana Sabha, someone who was given the title of Lok Hitvadi as well. But we will have to have more lessons on these topics because you keep getting questions on who founded a particular school or who was the founder of a particular organization, or if there was some journal or some sort of book associated with that person. They keep asking these kinds of questions, so we will dwell on those as well. So now we talk about education first of all. See, Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, when we had spoken about him, you should know that as a government inspector of schools, he had organized 35 girls' schools, many of which he ran at his own expense. And as secretary to the Bethune School, he was one of the pioneers of higher education for women. Now, as regards Bethune School, this is quite significant. It was founded in Calcutta in 1849, and it was the first fruit of the powerful movement for women's education that arose in the 1840s and 1850s. There were prejudices that were prevalent in India against the education of women, and it wasn't like women did not get education before the British came here, but it is just that there were all these notions that existed. For example, that an educated woman would lose her husband. Then some young students, they were shouted at and abused, and even their parents were subjected to social boycott. And many believed that girls who had received Western education would make slaves of their husbands. In fact, if you need more insight into this, I would recommend that you watch the film Swades. And Swades mein one of the things that Shah Rukh Khan's character and the woman playing Gayatri have to deal with is that गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में जब बच्चियाँ आती नहीं हैं पढ़ने और उनके एडमिशन की बात होती है तो गांव के लोग जो हैं वो इनिशियली उस चीज़ को नहीं समझते हैं कि एजुकेशन क्यों ज़रूरी है, इनफैक्ट अपोज करते हैं. तो अगर आपको थोड़ा इस बारे में जानना हो तो आप उसको देख सकते हैं. 1848 में several educated young men, they formed the Students' Literary and Scientific Society, which had two branches, Gujarati and Marathi ज्ञान प्रसारक मंडली, और इसका एक एम था टू स्टार्ट स्कूल्स फॉर द एजुकेशन ऑफ विमेन. सिमिलरली 1851 में ज्योतिबा फुले एंड हिज वाइफ, they started a girls school at Pune, and soon many other schools came up, and there were other active promoters of schools as well, such as Jagannath Shankar Seth and Bhau Daji. Now let us look at a key social reformer, Jyotiba Phule. He founded the Satya Shodhak Samaj, and this can be said to be the first lower caste movement. He was the first person in India to start a school for lower caste girls in 1851 in Pune. He started schools for untouchables, and he was given the title of Mahatma by the people of Pune. Be very, very careful when you come across these kinds of factoids, such as who gave whom सो एंड सो टाइटल, या उनका टाइटल क्या था, या अगर उन्होंने उसको रिनाउंस किया तो कब किया, क्यों किया, ये सारी चीज़ों पे ध्यान दीजिए. लोकहितवादी. अब लोकहितवादी नाम पड़ा था गोपाल हरि देशमुख जी का. न्यू लर्निंग एंड सोशल रिफॉर्म इन महाराष्ट्र, दिस इज व्हाट ही प्रोपोगेटेड, and he advocated the reorganization of Indian society on rational principles, modern, humanistic and secular values. He wrote Shat Patre. Shat means 100. So he wrote these 100 letters that emphasize national regeneration through social reform and modern education. And he said something very profound. He said, and I quote, "If religion does not sanction social reform, then change religion." You need to remember that this was the spirit that pervaded the socio-cultural reforms of the time. Then an organization called Paramhans Mandali was also founded in 1849. This was in Maharashtra. The founders were Dadoba Pandurang, Bal Shastri Jambekar and R.G. Bhandarkar. Monotheism or breaking caste rules, these were some of the key practices of the Paramhans Mandali. And what you do need to understand is that very often these organizations, when they used to break caste norms and barriers, at their meetings, members used to take food cooked by low caste people. And this, in fact, continues to be a menace to this day. There have been such problems. There are, for example, you come across news like midday meal scheme के अंडर अगर किसी कुक को एम्प्लॉय किया है तो कभी कभी लोगों ने प्रोटेस्ट किया है कि नहीं, ही इज़ अ लोअर कास्ट पर्सन, सो वी विल नॉट let our children eat food cooked by him or her, and so on and so forth. So these kinds of issues do arise. And this Mandali also advocated widow remarriage and women education. Prarthana Sabha, this was founded in 1867 by M.G. Ranade, R.G. Bhandarkar and Atmaram Pandurang. It was powerfully influenced by the Brahmo Samaj. It also propagated monotheism and tried to free religion of caste orthodoxy and priestly domination. And its activities in fact spread to South India as well. And Veerasalingam Pantulu, who was a Telugu reformer, he formed the Rajmundri Social Reform Association and worked for the upliftment of women and widow remarriage in Andhra Pradesh. तो इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का आप कह सकते हैं एक तरह से रीच जो था वो साउथ इंडिया तक गया. Some other reformers that you should know about include Vishnu Shastri Pandit, who founded the Widow Remarriage Association in the 1850s. Then Karsan Das Mulji, who started the Satya Prakash in Gujarati in 1852, and this was to advocate widow remarriage. And Dada Bhai Nauroji, इनके बारे में हमने इकोनॉमिक हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी पढ़ा था, तो आप उसको याद रखिएगा. और बॉम्बे में इन्होंने एक एसोसिएशन, ही वाज वन ऑफ द फाउंडर्स ऑफ एन एसोसिएशन to reform the Zoroastrian religion and the Parsi Law Association. This agitated for the grant of legal status to women and for uniform laws of inheritance and marriage for the Parsis. So see, these are the key changes that were occurring in Indian society at that time. We'll have to have some more lessons on this, such as on education particularly, the kind of philosophy that was being followed. So not just the schools, colleges that were being founded and who their respective founders were, but what was the idea behind spreading education in India, what was the debate between modern education vis-a-vis native education, and not just the fact that education should be taking place, but in what medium of instruction should be there. All these were debates that were raging and continued to rage even today. So that is why, they say that when you read history, it will become all the more interesting and be useful if you don't just look at it as something that has happened in the past, but something from which useful lessons can be drawn for the present and for the future. So with that thought, let me leave you to it and see you in the next lesson. Thank you.